People have been digging around the game files for Trickcal on the global server, and there are a few more banners that have been added into the possible next characters we are getting. So let's talk a little bit about this. We talked about this yesterday on stream, but I thought I could make a separate video because I want to show the skins for the characters and what they're getting. That said, before we start, hello the internet, welcome back to Waifus. I'm Sefhi, your favorite gambling addict. Today's topic, upcoming banners for Trickcal. Now, just because they are on the game files does not mean they are next. Gavia has been on the files for a while, Epica has been on the files for a while. Most of the other characters that were on the files already got their banners, but again, there is no guarantee these are the next ones. They could add more on the next update, whatever it is, right? That said, let's talk about this a little bit. Leave a like, subscribe, and make the channel, and let's jump directly here into the website. So I'm going to be categorizing this into 4 different categories, basically. I'm going to be categorizing them into the skip category, characters that, unless you are building that specific personality, you can't completely skip. Characters that we're waiting for the passive to see how good or bad it's going to be. Characters that are good to pull, good to grab a copy, again, if you are building that personality. And the characters that, in my opinion, you should be pulling for. Obviously, the category for pull, it's mostly going to be Eldains. I've said this multiple times, but it really feels like they are the only characters you should not be skipping. That includes Shion in this case, and the banner that some people are saying is next, Epica. Now, again, if you are not building the press team, you can skip Shion, but in my opinion, you should always grab a copy of any Eldain coming out. Speaking on Epica, people are saying she might be the next Eldain coming out, and if you're interested on checking what skins she has, she is right here, and she has also actually a couple of them. She's pretty cute, I like her, not gonna lie. She has a wedding dress that I believe was the battle pass, because it's 30k won. She has a cheerleader skin, normal skin, and then she has a normal skin for an RPG series. This, I would prefer if we get this. This was a set of 5 skins, and a lot of different characters got as well one. So it was not only Epica, but it was Bibi, it was Aya. All of the initial Eldains got one skin like that. Hello, Kato, what are you doing here? So that skin, I would prefer if it's the one we get that pack, but I'm pretty sure it's not going to be possible because Ed also got one, and we don't have Ed yet in the game. But Eldains, in my opinion, are the ones that you should grab a copy. Now, like I was saying earlier, I don't think you're going to be bringing your account. Trickcal is the most casual game ever, honestly, when it comes to actually pulling characters and what teams you can build. Just because a character is on T2 doesn't mean anything when you need 6 characters or 9 for a raid, right? That said, those are the ones that I would recommend pulling. There are a few characters also that I think are great to grab a copy. The first one that we do not have yet on global is going to be Ricotta. If you're building a blue team, Velvet is not an amazing tank. Now, she works. I'm not saying she does not work, alright? She does work. But Ricotta is 1,000 times better. Ricotta is a tank, let me put myself back on the left by the way. Ricotta is a tank that will heal allies, buff allies, while also having really good tanking capabilities herself. So she's like an all-rounder character, and for the blue team, she will be the main tank, rather than obviously being Velvet. I do like Velvet, I have her build, I got her skin. Her sounds are pretty funny anytime you are actually on the crayon screen. But then again, she's not a fantastic unit. If you like her, if she's your waifu, obviously you will not be replacing her. But for most people building a blue team, this will be your tank. Another character that I do think is nice to grab a copy if you are building a red team is going to be Diana. Diana is already on the global server, so this would be like a standard banner rather than a new unit. But she is a decent healer, but the reason I'm putting her higher rather than a skip is because her passive is really good, right? Increasing attack for all of the characters on the same element is strong. That applies for so many different units, for Erpin, for who was the other one? Was it Butter? I think it's Butter, the other one that has it. Erpin, Aya, all of those characters are always great to have, and they will be staples to increase your damage. When you are min-maxing your damage, and when we are on Dimensional Clash, and the difference between literally top 30 and top 20 is a couple 100 million, you will be using those characters always. So a great character to grab a copy if you can, if you're not building red. Again, you can skip her. Another character that I think it's going to be great to get a copy, and this is mostly if you are only building Innocence team, is going to be Naya. Naya is a great healer, and the problem is that the Innocence team doesn't have a lot of healers. We have Mayo, which is a 3-star in global, and then we have Naya, which is one of the few characters that can actually heal on this team. At the moment, there is a better healer for Trickcal on the Korean server, which is going to be Ayla, but only if you can get her aside, right? So until we know if we're getting Ayla, God knows when, it's the current rate up in Korea. If you're building a green team, I will say grab a copy of Naya. Gavia is a fantastic character, and a lot of the green units play around shields, but it is underwhelming. And in the Korean server, as much as I love my green girl propaganda, they are the weakest personality, right? So shields are good, but for the most part, they will get you killed pretty fast. Gavia is a nice character. If you're building green, grab a copy. If not, most people will be able to skip. The same applies to Mayo. The only reason to be grabbing a copy of Mayo is if you care about building a dimensional class team. Outside of that, there is plenty of good characters already to at least have 6 characters for your campaign team, which is going to be your Chloe, your Leeds, your Shady on the front line, Diana buffing, and then you could be running Alice and Belita or whoever you want as DPSs, right? So there is plenty of characters already for Red. They went from being one of the most underwhelming personalities to like actually one of the strongest. Green, we don't talk about Green, okay? Best team ever. That said, you can skip Mayo for the most part, alright? There is nothing interesting on her. Same, I'm gonna be saying, sadly, as much as I love them, for Sylphir and for Ron. Now, Sylphir, you can skip. There is nothing interesting about her unless you care about the utility she provides for Dimensional Clash. Outside of that, skip. When it comes to Ron, now, I will be building her because I think she's cute. I like the basic knight aesthetic. And also, she's a 3-star for us. She's not a 2-star. So that is changing as well. It seems that she's going to be a 3-star. So we'll see how good her passive is. I highly doubt she's going to be better than Bibi. But in the case she is better, you could be grabbing a copy 100%, no problems. Right? So most of the green characters you could be skipping. We could say wait until we see the passive for Ron. But most likely she's going to be a skip character for 99% of people. Alright? When it comes to the rest of the characters here, one that I'm going to be putting on passive is because I don't know how her kit works, is Chopin. I don't know how her kit works, I don't know how good she is on the Vivacious team, so I'm gonna put her on passive, waiting for the skills to see if it's worth grabbing a copy or not. Obviously, having Epic as a DPS already will be carrying your ass. If you are looking for an extra one, then go with Chopin. And then lastly, we have two Depressed Girls and Picora. Picora is an interesting one. So her passive is a global passive, just like Diana. But her passive is not increasing everyone's attack. Her passive is crit resistance, making everyone just survive a little bit longer. If you're building a blue team, she is a nice character. But for most people, it's not as high priority. And even less so when you have Meluna for free. Now, I know what you're thinking. Sefhi, Meluna is a 2-star character. I don't like her. Probably the best healer global has, because she heals everyone on the team rather than healing 1 or 2 allies. Literally, she's a better healer than almost any other character in the game. Obviously, her biggest downside is that she's just a pure healer. Her damage is underwhelming and she does nothing else for the team, right? So if we're talking utility and heals, Picora is a better healer. But if you don't want to be building an extra character, you could be skipping her and just building Meluna. If you don't like Meluna, then obviously you will be grabbing a copy of Picora. But again, this is just based on what you're building at the moment. And then lastly, the other two girls are going to be waiting for their passives. And I'm saying waiting for their passives because we already know their passives. If we go into the source page, right here, and we go into Blanchett and Ashur, we do know what they have. So Blanchett is going to be a DPS for the Depressed team. We have plenty of DPSs already for the Depressed team. And her passive is decent. It's actually a decent passive. It increases skill damage. It also makes her immune to silence, which is good for PvP. Not so much overall on PvE, but for PvP it's really good. And then a skill damage is a fantastic passive because most damage, depending on the character, is either going to be a skill damage or basic attack enhanced damage, right? So based on that, if her damage is good, she could be a pool for a copy, and then we wait to see if Ashur is going to be decent enough. Because Ashur passive, rather than increasing her own damage, which as you can see is a magical damage dealer, single target that also applies burn. The only thing she does with her passive is reduce incoming damage attack from enemy skill attacks. But it seems it's only for her. If this is for everyone on the team, I will say she's a good character to pick. If this is only for herself, it might not be enough. But again, both Blanchett and Azure are just waiting until we see how good they are in global. At the moment, we can value Blanchett's passive a lot more based on other characters, but we don't even know. But TLDR, this is right now how those banners are looking, and the ones that I will say you could be waiting for. When it comes to skins, when it comes to a lot of the things that they have, it depends on what characters you're looking for. For example, if we go to Naya on top, since I know where she is, she has a couple cute skins. Okay, I'm gonna put myself on the right so you guys can see all of the skins. She has this cool girl skin, she has the bunny girl skin, pretty nice skin, both of them. When we're talking about the rest of the girls, if I remember where all of them are, Blanchett is right here. I think I've already shown her, but she has a nice dress skin and a nice bunny skin as well. Honestly, Blanchett has kind of like thick thighs, no? I'm just saying, it kind of looks like big chibi thighs. When it comes to the rest of the characters, I don't know all of them, what skins they have. Chopin has a really cool skin. This one I really like a lot, which is just the biker skin. And then she also has this one, which is just a drummer instead. I do think this one is her best skin by far. We already did show Epica's skins, and the other do have a couple, but since most of them are 2 stars on the Korean server, they don't have that many. That said, enough ranting, that's basically everything for this video. Just wanted to show a little bit the upcoming banners we're getting, and in my opinion, what's the pool priority to be getting, right? Enough ranting, enough jumping, we are live every single day, links in the description down below. Good luck with your pool, the internets, and I'll see you on the next one.